All right. Joining us, I think, via the gloriousness of... Is it on Skype, Danny Segura? Yep. Joining us now via the gloriousness of Skype is our friend and one hell of a fighter and a burgeoning analyst as well. The one and only Motown Phenom is here. Kevin Lee. Hey, look at that. Sun's out, guns out, huh?
What's going on? What's going on? Yeah, look, I got to do it sometime.
You know what? I follow you on Instagram, Kevin. It looked like your trip to Asia completely changed your life. Am I wrong in assuming it had a big effect on you?
No, I mean, I think that's exactly what it is. 6 weeks out, just kind of like going between 6 different countries, traveling, getting to see like different cultures, getting to see the different ways that people do things. I think it did, and it really changed me for the better too. It really just opened up my mind, and it just gave me a whole lot more experience too. And I feel like that's really gonna come through in the way that I'm preparing for fights, and the way I'm gonna get in there with people.
How so? Give me a sense of that.
Well, I just got to see like the way that other people are even training for fights or what they do. You know, everybody's body kind of moves different, and like even in cultures, like people just move different. And like like even when I was over in Japan, you know, the way that they trained, the way that they prepared, everything was real. It just was done in a different way than we do it here in America, and it kind of like opened up my eyes that there's more than one way to do things, and I feel like I'm gonna show that.
Now, I know that you still have a lot of opinions about the world, but I have noticed you're a lot less active on Twitter than you used to be. Coincidence?
Yeah, true. I'm a lot less active on all social media. You know, it's just like at a certain point it get to be too much. You know, where I kind of like have to dial back a little bit. People, it's the fucking eggs and all that. Like I can't take it. I've realized like I gotta look out for my own like health first. You know what I'm saying? Before I give to too many people. And you know, I mean I'm a social dude and all that, but not too much like that.
Favorite place you visited?
Japan, for sure. Japan.
Why?
Thailand was amazing too. But Japan, I just love the culture. I love the folks there. Everybody treats you with respect without you having to go out your way or it just was amazing to me. The way everything's super duper clean. You can eat off the streets if you want to. So I feel like I could move there at one point.
And favorite thing you ate? I saw you struggled with scorpion and then durian fruit.
Yeah. I mean, I got my hands on a couple things. Favorite thing was probably the Chinese food. Like they got a different way of doing pork over there. Like they had like that sweet and sour pork that was like over some man. I'm telling you, it's the Chinese food for sure.
All right, well, I want to get to that because we got to talk about 165-pound weight class in just a second. But I saw you made your debut on FS1. By the way, they may not put anything in their cups, but I can assure you mine is filled with either water or coffee every time.
See, I mean, it's such a letdown. You know how they say you shouldn't meet your heroes and you shouldn't get to see things that you ain't supposed to see because then it's just like, oh man, all this shit was all fake. I don't want to go on the Fox set again and see like them like shooting a movie or something, and I realized the whole time all this shit was all CGI. It was all fake. Santa Claus is not real, and it's gonna be a huge letdown. That was one of them ones with that. But I'm glad that you're a real one. You're a real one, Luke. They got a good man to do this show.
Yeah, thank you. By the way, how was it trying to break down fights? Was it as easy or as hard as you thought it might be?
It's stressful. I mean, it's not really that hard because I just love the sport and I just love doing it. And, you know, I know most of the fighters anyway, and I study pretty much everybody. So I don't want to say it's necessarily hard, but it's different. And it's a different type of preparation that go into something like that. Like, I was more nervous for that than like a fight. You know, as soon as that camera come on you and it's red and it's live, it's a different type of like nervousness that go into it. So, I mean, it's a good experience for me to do. I don't know how many times I'll do it, just because I'm still focusing on my own career. I'm still doing my thing. But it's good experience in the long run.
Let me pick your brain. We'll get to the 165-pound stuff in just a minute. But this weekend, two of your lightweight compatriots, Dustin Poirier is going to fight Eddie Alvarez. They believe a title shot's on the line, whether or not we'll see. But the fight itself, what do you make of this matchup? How do you assess them?
It's a good fight. It's the right fight that should have been made too. I feel like they in a different type of category. I don't really see neither one of them competing with the best at 155. But like we'll see, you know, and that's still an option out there for me too. We'll see. We're gonna see how the whole thing shake out. I mean, Eddie, he out there, he doing his thing. He he's still kicking. I don't know how Eddie doing it, but if Eddie wins, then we definitely gonna. I got to definitely get a taste of that. But you know, the fight itself between them two, they're gonna put on a good fight. I think they both gonna go out there and they're gonna lose some brain cells.
Now, that's your candor is always appreciated. One of the things that I went back and I watched the fight again, the first meeting that they had at UFC 211. Dustin's in that southpaw position. Now, I don't want to overgeneralize, but you also fight from the southpaw position. Every fight's different, but for you, Kevin, generally speaking, how much of an asset on balance is that southpaw position for you?
It throws guys off a lot, you know, and it's something that I do both. I switch orthodox. I'm naturally a right-handed, but I go southpaw a lot because you never know what I'm going to be doing. You never know what stance I'm going to be coming from, what angles punches are going to be coming from. That's the thing that throws guys off, and especially somebody like Eddie, who's shorter, who likes to work behind his jab. You just by the nature of how your bodies are positioned, you gonna throw him off. So I think Dustin's probably got his number. He had his number the first time. Eddie he took kind of a cheap shot out. But we gonna see in this next one. I feel like Dustin will probably have his number again just from being that southpaw. Dustin's a good boxer. He's gonna keep pushing forward. But we're gonna see how I think 5 rounds kind of favors Eddie a little bit. But I don't know. I don't really. The fight itself ain't too. I'm not looking at it as like too much of a threat. You know what I mean?
Too much of a threat to you?
Yeah. I got bigger and better. I got bigger and better things on my mind at least. But we gonna see. We'll see how after the fight, if either one of them are impressive. If I got to turn my attention to them.
Now, let's say, I know you're not, but let's say you were cornering Eddie. From a general standpoint, what are the keys to Eddie's victory, if he is to have one?
He's got to get back on that leg. I mean, Dustin just took a lot of damage versus Gaethje on that lead leg, and I mean that's the first thing I would get on the leg, the body. Dustin, he's just been taking a lot of damage lately, so I would try and eat up that damage that he's already taken, take him down, really show that it's a full MMA fight too. I feel like Eddie's a little bit more versatile. Eddie probably is a little bit more well-rounded. He got to use all of it. If he just stand up and he just try and go to war with Dustin again, he gonna get his ass whooped again. So if he was smart, he would do something different. But honestly, Eddie's an old dog. It's hard to teach old dogs new tricks. He gonna come out there. He gonna do the same things that he been doing. And I don't know if he gonna make the necessary adjustment.
Yeah, and Poirier had the big power advantage, it looked like, in the first fight anyway. But you mentioned something about the damage, all those leg kicks that Poirier took at the hands, or I should say the legs anyway, of Gaethje. When you look at that as a fan, you look at that and you say, okay, that's really bad, but he'll heal from that and he'll go back to normal. Are you suggesting that there is no normal to go back to when you take damage like that?
Not that much, especially on them nerves. They take a long time to heal. It's more than just like a muscle damage or structurally. I think once it get hits again, it's just like being knocked out. Once you get that button touch, it can be touched again. And if he got deep into that nerve, you can get it touched again. So I think maybe he should have took more time. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how bad his leg is, but I'm pretty sure there's still some damage from there. That's a tough one to try and heal in 6 months. Trust me. I mean, I'd have had Edson kick me in the leg, and Edson kicked way harder than Justin Gaethje. So it takes some time.
Yeah, I was about to say, how long before you felt like you were back to normal after the Edson fight?
I mean, I just played it smarter. I start checking them motherfuckers. I just ain't keep letting them kick me like that. I really ain't take too many. When you look at the fight, you don't see me limping and shit. So, I just start checking them. I start doing the right things. But even then, though, a couple did get through. So it takes a while. It takes, a couple months, maybe 2 months or so before I really felt back to normal.
I asked Dustin this question. I'll put it to you as well. Sort of tell me how the lightweight title goes this year. When is it going to be contested and against who? Do you think Conor gets the immediate title shot?
Yeah, I think the Conor fight is the right fight to make. they do Conor versus Khabib in October. And it's so muddied, it's so weird. I feel like they do still need to. That's why I've been pushing for this 165-pound division, because I feel like they need to like clarify all this. Even that where they're talking about stripping Kobe Covington, who just had that little interim title. Why do we got three titles in between these weight classes anyway? He won that title off a guy who made his living at 155, and he's a natural 170 pounder. They should go ahead and just make a title in between those, and move 170 up to 75. Let Khabib and Conor go at it for the 155 belt. Make a 65 belt, and then let Tyron fight somebody for the 75 belt. I think that makes the most sense. At 55 right now, it looks like it's going to be Khabib and Conor. It probably should, just because of how much promotion is already going into it, and it probably makes the most sense in October.
Now, I want to get to that 165 in just a second, I promise, but do me the honors if you can. If it is Khabib and Conor, who wins and why?
That's a toss-up. It's a toss-up one. I keep kind of going back and forth on it. I still think that Conor probably will get it. I think he'll sleep him. I think Khabib is going to come out there with that same approach that he's been approaching fights for 5-6 years. The only thing is, it's such a big X factor with Conor. You don't know, how he's going to look, if he's still got that same hunger. Because Khabib going to come hungry. Khabib going to be ready to fight. And if Conor take it lightly, then he's going to get his ass whooped. But Khabib, that style, I don't know. He might get slept.
Where are you in the division? Now, if they don't make a 165, where does that leave you? I know where you're ranked, but I'm saying in your mind, you've got Poirier, Alvarez this weekend. That'll sort some of this out. But where does it leave you?
Yeah, I don't know. I got some options. And that's always the best thing to have. So we going to see. Like I said, we'll see the winner of this. It's good timing for me to come back and fight that winner at the end of this year, maybe. We gonna see. I kind of always got my own things going on, and I'm kind of always in my own head. Last time I made that call out to George St. Pierre, so every day that I'm waking up and I'm training, I'm training with him, thinking of different ways that I could beat him. So until my focus shift, we gonna see.
Has the UFC expressed any interest in your idea about you at 165 and or you at 165 opposite St. Pierre?
Me at 165, yes. At St. Pierre, they don't really know, because nobody really knows. They know. Everybody kind of gives me like the little side eye whenever I say that, and it's because they know that George ain't gonna take a fight that he don't think he can win. And I think we all kind of know George don't think he can beat me. So everybody, whenever I mention it, they kind of give me like the little, okay, you gonna try that, huh? And I'm like, yeah. Until otherwise, I'm gonna see how this thing goes. But they have expressed interest in a 65-pound division. I think they just waiting on the right timing, or trying to figure out how they're gonna do it. But it's gonna have to come. This weight cutting issue is such a big deal, and it's not even like I'm not calling out for it because I can't make 155 anymore. I'm smaller than some of these other guys. Right now, I'm sitting here at 178. I can make the weight class no problem again. It's just, we have to do something about this weight cutting issue. The only commission to look at it was California, and the way that they came up to fix it, they added a 165 and a 175-pound division. That's the only solution that there is. Everybody knows that this weight cutting thing is a problem, but nobody's coming up with no fucking solutions. Everybody's just kind of, waiting for somebody to die. And I don't feel like that's the right thing to do. I think you have to take at least one step in the right direction, and then just see how it goes. It's really no downside to it.
Is that what you believe, that it would take something catastrophic for major structural change to happen inside MMA's weight classes?
Yeah, and it's a shame too. But it's happened again and again and again in all these combat sports. You've seen it in boxing, you've seen it in wrestling. They just did it a couple years ago when the three kids died in the sauna. They went ahead and changed all these weight classes. That's what it's gonna take. It's unfortunate, and it could be, and people kind of gloss over it too. Uriah Hall, I trained with, the man had a seizure cutting weight for fights, and it kind of gets swept under the rug, and it kind of goes like, oh, he was doing his own thing, or he wasn't worried about him. But the man had a seizure getting ready for a fight. That's not a joke. That's not like, it's it's more serious than I think people realize, and it's my health on the line too, along with it. So if I can take and all I got to do is just step up and just talk about it and try and make some change happen, then that's what I'm gonna do. But the rest of these motherfuckers is too scared. They won't do it because they don't want to step up and say what they really feel.
Do most fighters roughly your weight class, let's say 155, 170, somewhere in the welterweight, lightweight space? How receptive are they to this idea of a 165-pound division? What's the word on the streets?
I don't know. Most people, especially 155ers, that I talk to, like they all want it. We all are about the same size. A lot of these guys are 85, 90. You see guys like Paul Felder, guys that I've fought. I fought Jake Matthews and Michelle Prazeres, and all these guys are way bigger than me. And it's like, even Edson was, a little bit bigger than me too. It's like we all doing the same thing to compete against each other. It doesn't make sense. If we can make it a little bit safer and we can make it a little bit more fair, like that's all I'm calling for. It's just a fair, even playing field for me to go out there and compete with somebody without having to kill myself to do it.
Now, I certainly understand the merits of the argument. I'm going to be candid with you and tell you I'm a little bit skeptical on a couple of fronts, but maybe you can convince me about something I'm missing. Playing devil's advocate, I certainly acknowledge the dangers of extreme weight cutting. It would be a fool to not. But the natural response would be, why not just fight at welterweight? To that, you would say what?
Well, I'm asking for a fair and equal playing field. You going against guys that are 6'3", or just carry around 15 extra pounds on them. A lot of these guys at 170, and it's documented. They're all coming in. They step into the cage at 195 or sometimes 200 pounds. If you look at even what California put out, they put out the weights of people the day of, and a lot of these 170 pounders like 195 or a little bit above. And you see, like in a fight, I think I'm still behind. That's why Dos Anjos lost that fight to Kobe, is because Kobe had 10 pounds on him, and all he has to do is lay on him and lean on him and make him carry that weight. It's different at the highest levels. At the lowest levels, yeah, you can do that. But at the highest levels, the 10 pounds, it makes a huge difference. If you do a 165, you won't have these guys cutting from 200 all the way down. You have guys from my size, about my size, and those guys will go up to 175. And if they can make 165 through that, then it's a more even playing field because I can get bigger.
And then the other question I would have is, do you have any concerns? I think you would agree, lightweight and welterweight are MMA's two best divisions, but almost in any organization you go to. Would you have concerns that if you made the 165, yes, you might solve, or at least, temporarily, not eliminate, but make the weight cutting less of an issue in that space, but you'd be draining the two best divisions to make another one? Does that make a lot of sense?
No, again, you look at the divisions, there's 100 guys. I think there's 99 registered guys at lightweight in the UFC. And then there's 89 or so before. Somebody has to look up the exact numbers, but I feel like it's 89. So you're talking about 100 guys between two different weight classes. There's only a top 15. And all these guys, everybody from top 25 could all be champions. So of course they can make another. You can add a top 15, 165 right now, and keep a top 175 top 15, and it just be just as strong as 170. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. There's so many guys. There's so much talent. The talent is there. It's the same thing as they said about adding 125 for the women. Yeah, it's gonna take some time to cultivate that, but I think it would be even easier because you already have so many guys in between these weight classes right now that could fill that up. And where it's at, it's always going to be, the talent is always going to show up.
You're a bright guy, which makes me wonder why you're wearing a Brooklyn Nets hoodie. How can you support that team?
I don't even know what it is, to be honest with you. This is just a little workout hoodie. I'm going to go for a run as soon as I get off the phone with you. It's just, I'm gonna get it sweaty. I'm gonna fuck it up. I don't care.
All right. So you're not a Brooklyn Nets fan. It's just clothing.
Yeah, I don't even know what it is. Sometimes through the fashion and stuff that I'll wear anything, to be honest with you.
And then Kevin, before you go, you're ready to take a lightweight fight if the right one is offered to you sometime through the course of 2018. Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I say, I got a lot of options that I'm playing with. I got things that I want. They got things that they want. we gonna meet somewhere in the middle of that, and everybody gonna go home happy. But somebody going home with their ass whooped at the end of the year.
Oh, wait, now, are you suggesting that you're not, are you still under contract with UFC?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I'm saying things that they want fight wise. You know, they
Oh,
got
okay.
ideas that they want for people for me to fight. I got ideas that I want people for me to fight. We're gonna see how they all go down. But by the end of this year, that's still where I'm looking at. Probably on that Madison Square Garden guard, regardless.
All right. Well, Kevin, I look forward to that or whenever it is you get back. I really appreciate your perspective and enjoy the run. Kevin Lee, world's biggest Brooklyn Nets fan. There he is, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Kevin.
My man.
All right. Take care. There he is. He is, he marches to the beat of his own drum, that guy. He has his own opinions. I'm still not totally sold on the 165 idea. I mean, I am sold in part, right? I'm sold in the idea that it's probably a lot healthier for fighters to have these 10-pound increments. So 55, 65, then 75, 85, and then I guess you would have no 95, but, some uniformity in that space. But I've often said this, a weight class created to assist in heavy weight cuts typically has that as its sole value.